Welcome in. It is the ATB show, ATB at the buzzer. I guess the history of that is it's Adam, Timmy, and Billy. Adam's been trapped in hair and makeup for quite some time at this point. Adam has a new professional responsibility, so he is usually commuting when we cut the show, although we designed it with now 5 of us knuckleheads. So there's at least 2 of us to bitch about New England sports, and we're lucky enough to have 3 of us tonight. Scotty's also trapped in hair and makeup. We got Corey live from the South Kakalaka studios, Rubber Shoes in beautiful downtown LA, the Lowell area. Would never give out a disaster. Oh, he's throwing up gang signs. You're going to get shot, Kendrick. Calm down. And I love that you're wearing the powder blue. So you're not, what is that? Rather than a crip, what is that? Like a quip, like a Cool Whip? What are we doing?
I think it's in between. It's both of them.
You're non-binary when it comes to gangs?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love that. Good for you. Excellent. I'm in the beautiful downtown New Hampshire studios. I think we discussed in the green room, which is the team chat, Bruins at the break. We'll discuss the Celtics at the break. We'll certainly talk about the possibility. We usually conjure this shit up. So I think if we talk about it just enough, a Bregman decision will happen immediately following the show. So if you're on the East Coast, we are live. It is 5:03.
I am so sick of all the freaking rumors popping up in my feeds. Oh,
you never know. You never know.
Just sign with someone so it could be over.
We have a hard stop at 6:01 Eastern. Corey has a grinder date. Very excited about that. So he has to get ready for that. And so right around 6:05 Eastern time, we may have Alex Bregman on our team because it's going to happen after the show. It's always after we wrap. We talked ad nauseum about Edelman. And as soon as the show was over, he released a video of him sitting on a stool on the 50-yard line at Foxborough saying goodbye to everybody. So we're infamous for this. We are going to talk about the meat of the day, the soup of the day, certainly the results from Sunday night and all things Super Bowl. Maggie Cat is here with her deep thoughts as well. Is she a cripple?
I was debating, I got the new Larry Bird Indiana State jersey.
Oh, that's new.
Yeah, I just got it. So Tyler took the train into Boston to go see his girlfriend this weekend because he wanted to avoid the snow, and he stopped at the pro shop at North Station. And She sent me a picture of it. I'm like, oh, if they have an extra large, get me one.
Oh my god!
But I really wanted to.
He needs the extra large for the guns.
Yeah. Oh, the muscles.
No, there's room for the guns because there's no sleeves.
So muscular.
I really wanted to wear my Brady stuff today, though.
Why would you not wear it today?
Does Corey have a guest with him?
Oh, this is Bella.
Oh yeah, I'm the only one without a pet because I'm at the office. So not that I would love. We actually, one of our new staff members formerly worked at a vet's office. And she kept referring during her interview process about the office cat. And I'm like, oh my! I looked at Kaylee. I'm like, yes, we're doing this. Yeah. Yes, we're getting an office cat. Nate shot that down. We're not doing an office cat, but
we have a shop dog at AAA Work Trucks.
As you should. Yes. Well, the benefits of being at your home office. You guys have Bella and Maggie. Yeah, love the shirt, by the way. Love the shirt. That is. I can't believe it's new. I mean, I'm not shocked that you bought another jersey. I just figured that to me screams you've had that. So, love it. Perfect. All right,
I got to get the Michigan State 32 now.
Why are you getting that?
Magic Johnson.
Because you're Laker love?
Old Laker love, yep.
Because you can't help yourself. Hey, there was a question. I'm sort of jumping all over the place, but there were some images with Luka with the Lakers and his first game. Did they actually put a real jersey on every seat out there, or were those T-shirts like sleeveless T-shirts? Which did you see those images?
No idea. No, I didn't.
Like Luka's first game that I think he was starting, there were the gold Laker jerseys on every seat. I'm like, it
wasn't jersey. It was T-shirts, right?
They were T-shirts. Okay.
Yeah, they were T-shirts.
They looked with maybe it was the image of the jersey on a yellow T-shirt.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah.
Okay, I was like, whoa, that's a ton of cash that they're throwing around. even if those are like knockoffs. You know what I mean? Even those.
My favorite meme that I've seen is they show him and Bronny, and it says Luka has tied Bronny on the all-time Lakers point scored list, 14 points each.
Yes. Yep. They're already tied for now. So much to talk about from Sunday. All the things, the halftime show, and all the things. Do you think? Let's start here. Do you think that this is a huge gap that the Chiefs are entering into, and there'll be a resurgence from Mahomes? Do you think Mahomes is never going to return to a bubble of greatness? Or, and here's my vote, I think he, like Khaleesi, steps out of the fire, hopefully not naked. Not for Khaleesi, of course. That was wonderful. But like I think he's going to come out chiseled. I think he's going to come out non-dad bod. And yeah, I get the irony of me saying that. I'm rather buoyant to be calling him dad bod, but like there's always been that image of Mahomes is like, oh, like if an alien ship landed and you'd be like, best quarterback on the planet, they'd be like, didn't really see that, you know? Does he go into the gym and is like the revenge tour is coming, or he'll be back later, or he'll never be back? Like, what do you think? Where's his head after Sunday night?
Well, I'm just here to say that I was right in my prediction.
Oh my God. I kept the microfiche, Corey. We're going to review. He couldn't wait to ask. He quietly throws into the chat, what were the scores again? Corey last week said 43-36 Eagles. Rubber Shoes said 32-23 after a course correction, 32-23 Eagles. Scotty said 21-17 Bad Guys, and I said 27-24. And I'll remind you, I was spot on at a half. I said to Janina, if the Chiefs come out and burn the barn down and go 27 straight unanswered points, I'm a genius and I'll be very pissed. Because then they would have only likened it to the comeback Tom had, right?
Oh yeah. On
his watch would have been horrifying. Yeah, Goodell was praying for that. But what are your thoughts? Like, what do you think? What becomes of him now?
I think he gets in the gym and starts grinding. I think it's. I was shocked to watch their faces on the sidelines in the third quarter, and then they're playing backups. Towards the end of the fourth quarter, I'm like, okay, they looked like they gave up. But if you remember that Atlanta game, they were all like, we can do this. We got this, right?
Yeah.
Over and over and over again, right?
Yep.
They didn't have any fight in them in the third quarter at all. They had no pivots.
Yeah, it was weird. Yeah, it's funny. So much has been, well, I've heard enough people talking about the fact, like, for all the accolades that Andy Reid gets, there was no different, like, oh, they look different this half. There wasn't
no adjustments. No adjustments.
I'm sure clearly they made some. They've got a phenomenal coaching staff. Yet it just didn't feel that way. And the way it started, like Aiden almost crawled through his phone to come home to be like, oh my God, here we go. Because that first flag, and I'm like, I looked at Janina, I'm like, get on the bus. Here we go. And after that, the refs decided to like swallow their whistles, which, we pray for that in the NBA finals. Like, just let them play, right? Hockey, let them play. Like, all not egregious shit, but like, just let them play. And they really did. I mean, honestly, the hands to the face on Mahomes on the strip sack, the hands to the face. That was like, they looked the other way on that one, which is incredible. And yet it just wasn't his night. Like, the refs couldn't have helped statistically, and I did no research, but I've heard this 5 times. Welcome to the show. Statistically, his worst game ever was Sunday night.
Yeah.
He played his worst game ever. And like, nobody saw that coming. Anybody who was like, I knew that was going to happen, you're out of your mind. You might have bet against them. And I appreciate, I'll say it for Scotty, like, from a juju standpoint, Scotty and I did what we did on last week's show to hopefully cause this to happen. There's not a piece of me that wants to root for them. But like, I have no historical evidence to assume anything but a 27-24 three-peat. The NFL, hi, Roger, we're watching. The NFL struck up a deal with Pat Riley for three-peat. Like, they were willing this into existence, and it was so poetic. I give Brady credit for, I would have been nude, at least from the waist up, in that fourth quarter if I was calling that game, if I were him. Like, it's that scene from the end of oh God, what is the movie with Denzel where he's the cop? Training Day, right? Is it Training Day?
Yeah.
Oh, you motherfucker! If I were Brady, I'd be like, you were all painting my demise, and yet here we are. Right?
According to Zolak, Brady was hat backwards, feeling pretty good on Bourbon Street after the game.
But as he should, as he deserves. He delivered 2 decades of greatness to this region, like as he should.
There was a meme going around that Brady won the Super Bowl again.
well, what's the one stat? Mahomes has never won a Super Bowl when Brady's in the building.
Yep.
Yeah.
So they're like, oh, they were talking about that today. They're like, oh, both games against the Chiefs next year as an Oakland Raiders owner, is he going to be in the building?
If I was that'd be amazing, right? If I'm Brady, I'd get like a hat or a hoodie made that just with the Kansas City K, and just have it say Kryptonite. Just happen to wear it to the game. It's fantastic. It's everything that we hope for. I don't. Where all right. So you didn't really say, Rubber Shoes. What do you think becomes of Mahomes?
I don't think he has it in him to get in the gym and come out and make his body better.
And he's a phenomenal athlete, and his body hasn't hasn't been his demise. But like, I just feel like you're going to see when Jalen
down
Hurts,
here and there.
Yeah,
but
Jalen.
I think them going forward is going to be whether or not his owners spend money, because we saw this year with yes, they made it to the Super Bowl. They had 12 one-score wins. A lot of those should have been losses, but they pulled it out their ass at the last minute. Like, they can't do that going forward. They're gonna start losing those games if their line was suspect in the Super Bowl. So if they don't put money out there, because they've gone through the same thing that Kraft did with Brady. They're like, oh, we have the guys, so we can cheap out on this, cheap out on that. So, Kelsey should retire. If he comes back, he's a shell of himself. Like, he didn't have a great year this year. The Juju's probably gone. Hopkins probably gone. They got Hollywood Brown, Xavier Worthy, and Rashid Rice. Maybe they're good enough. I don't know. But they got some rebuilding to do.
Their defense isn't that good either.
Yeah, and Chris Jones, the radio on the way home, they're like, oh, he's still in his prime. He's 30 as a defensive end. I don't know how many defensive ends play into their 30s, and he was struggling with his knee at the Super Bowl. So
yeah, he went down and he adjusted the knee brace. It was definitely an issue. There was the hit where Mahomes went down and his head pretty violently hit the ground, and he sprung right back up, and he had all his faculties. There was nothing. He wasn't presenting physically like he was in trouble, because they would have had to do something because of the scope of the stage he was on. And the NFL also was not going to be like, don't let him get in that blue tent, right? Because that would ruin the entire game. But there was footage of him, and maybe just to get checked up, but like there was footage of him leaving the locker room, jumping on a cart and going to get something somewhere. So I don't know if they were going to scan something or whatever, but or maybe it was just staged appropriately. Maybe he was just driving to the presser, but he was still in his gear. Shoulder pads off, but compression shirt with the underpads and everything from the waist down was still full gear. So I don't know where he was going for that. So again, his physique hasn't been a downfall for him. I just feel like It was that year. Jalen Hurts has always been they're all specimens. Jalen Hurts came out a couple of years ago, and he had clearly been in the gym. You saw him like at summer camp, and he was like, "Oh, he's juiced up." And I feel like you might see that from Kelsey too. If the two of them go on their vacations and get back and just say, "Are we doing this?" I think you're going to see the two of them push each other in a very annoying way as a fan that hates the team.
I don't think Kelsey can bounce back.
You think he's done, huh? Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't.
Okay.
He did not look good. He didn't look very good the whole season. Like if you took him for fantasy this year, you were like, what the hell?
Yeah, it was not. Yeah.
Steph just said the year before also. He's on that downward. Age catches up eventually. Not everyone can be Tom Brady.
You're going to Max Kellerman him
no,
and say he's on the cliff?
I'm not saying he's cliffed. Yeah. You know, that's what Kellerman was saying. I mean,
yeah, but it's going to get. It's not going to.
He's starting to go down. He's on a slope.
Yeah,
not a cliff, a slope. Yeah,
yeah. No, I hear you. Who are
you? Because if you come back at that age, then you start questioning PEDs.
So leading up to this whole thing, it was Kansas City dynasty, Pat Mahomes, the greatest quarterback of all time. Now since they've lost, I haven't heard anything. I've heard the total opposite.
No, it's a hard reset. It really is. It's a hard reset of the whole conversation.
Stephen A. Smith came out and said if Mahomes wins this one, he's the GOAT. I'm like, what the he's not the GOAT. He's like, he still has a long way to go. Well, that's the biggest reason why I was hoping for the Kansas City loss is because just to shut up the national broadcasters with that. Yes. The local guys are like, even like Felger who likes to troll the Patriots fans. He wasn't saying that he becomes the GOAT just after winning this. It's like Brady did it for 20 years. He went to 10 Super Bowls. It's like he would have been on pace to be better than Brady, but still a long way to go to stay away from injuries and put the work in. And I don't know if he has that in him.
Yeah. And that's the other point that people keep making is to be able to reinvent themselves and then have that second run, and do it all over the course of 20 years. And you made a great point earlier, Rubber Shoes. You're talking about the fact that, they can sort of cheap out because they've got this cog in the machine right now that sort of makes Brady made all the warts less visible because of his talent, and he was able to have people rally around him. You were willing to go to New England and play at a stadium that's in the middle of where, Borough? Like, where are we going? And there's no nightlife and all that kind of stuff because we closed the bars at 11:30 because we decided we don't want non-traditional revenue after midnight or something. I don't know. Hi, Michelle. She's a great mayor. Anyway, so in the grand scheme of things, like you had these people and they're just like, I'll go play with Brady. I'll go play on the surface of the sun with Brady. Like all that's gone. I think you're going to see Vrabel and Drake May bring that kind of stuff back. My biggest concern, and we've been talking about this for years now, is when he got the $500 million, Mahomes, of course, I was like, this is not going to work. How are they going to sustain financially around him? And then it was after he won his first Super Bowl. He's like, I'm looking at Brady's blueprint and I understand what I need to do. And they restructured and all that kind of stuff. Just, I don't, questions. Is Andy Reid making a decision this offseason or is he going to run it back? I mean, I don't think he's leaving, but who knows? Who knows? Right. Like when he exits the field at home, all of his grandchildren run up. And I think he's, it's not like, he's home now for a handful of days. Like during the season, he's losing. We all have ridiculous schedules, and the schedule of an NFL coach, especially the head coach, is like, I'll see you in mid-February. Yeah. At the worst.
That's the same with Mahomes. Like, is he willing to put the work in? Is he going to have kids soon? And then, that family gets in the way is, Brady.
They are. They have kids, don't they?
I don't know. I've never seen any.
They have short people. Yeah, I feel like in quarterback they have short people. I'm checking. Write down the time and date, Corey. I'm doing research. Stand by.
5:21.
Yep. Got it. Right. He's gonna write it down right next to his score from last week. He's going to put it in the microfiche to send it off to the Smithsonian.
Today's the 11th,
God.
right?
No, stop.
We're not in a leap year, right?
Brittany Mahomes. Why am I?
Don't forget this. I don't think that.
Yeah, there's her. Unless she stole somebody's kid.
She's got one. I think they just had a baby girl.
Oh,
she just popped. Yeah, stand by. Patrick and Brittany have 3 kids. Sterling Sky,
3?
their first child.
No, they don't.
Yep, their first child born on February 20th, 2021.
She
Patrick
looks
Bronze
phenomenal.
Lavon Mahomes the third, their son, born November 28th. Happy birthday, Janina, 2022. And Golden Ray Mahomes, their daughter, born on January 12th, 2025. She just popped.
My goodness.
She
I thought
just
she only
popped.
had one. Wow.
Yeah. They announced
They
their
get
third
busy.
pregnancy this past July.
So the oldest
Crazy.
one is 4.
Yep. And
Yeah, we
his
already
son-
confirmed that. If you want to be on the show, pull up a monitor. Sorry. I don't read People magazine.
I love that we can hear Steph yelling off camera. Yeah. This is my favorite. Listen, dude, she's so
She
dialed
even knows
in.
the names.
She's so, of course she does. She's so dialed in. That's amazing. What is she whooping up in the kitchen?
Well, I'm just
and that was the most misogynistic question I could ask in 2025, presuming she's in another room cooking for you. But I also know that you outkicked your coverage 3 times, so she is cooking. Yeah, of course she is. Yeah.
I'm just having pork loin.
Just pork loin. Of course you are, because you're carnivore.
Yeah, it's carnivore.
What are you down now?
Still plateaued at 16, but I've noticed my body's transformed a little bit, so it's
mine too.
Yeah. It's
Just
gonna ask about appendages, but we're gonna keep it PG. Gonna keep it PG.
Yep. Gotta keep it PG.
Yep.
So Super Bowl, everything I've heard, lackluster, halftime show, blowout. What do you guys think?
Well, the game as soon as I never felt comfortable with the score until they came out and there was still no momentum shift. Right? The first half was enjoyable, but you're waiting for the shoe to drop, right? You're waiting for Jalen to get hurt or Saquon to get hurt or the entire Eagles team gets norovirus at the half, right? Like I'm waiting for something to happen, right? Yeah, if we're going to skip quickly to the halftime show, because I think we need to spend some time on that. I'm fascinated that I found a whole bunch. There was a kid somewhere in the country. I don't know where it's from. It's certainly populated up here. It's on news feeds up here, where he does a synopsis of all the symbolism in the show with Kendrick. And let me start all this by saying I like Kendrick. I really do. Did he carry? Because this is the mantle I'm holding it up to. Don't forget, and I had to remind Cheryl. Because Cheryl didn't get it. Like Cheryl's just like, yeah, I don't know what's happening. I thought it was terrible. And I just said, well, Jay-Z has been the artistic director since 2019. So if you have a complaint, you can email him. And I wrote jz@hedoesn'tcare.com. I don't know if she ever sent him an email. But I will hold it up to the one that I've enjoyed the most since he took over was Rihanna. Because it started with, oh my God, she's pregnant. And then she crushed it, right? I know a lot of people, and I know you two did because we talked about this. A lot of people love the LA halftime with all the LA stuff and the white boxes. I thought that whole setup was janky. I didn't like that at all. And I love Kendrick. I love the symbolism that he used. I love that he was right into the camera and finally played the diss track and all that kind of stuff. There's people online and they're just like, well, if you didn't get it, it's because you're tone deaf, or if you didn't get it, it's because you're racist, or if you didn't get it, it's because you voted for somebody. And like that, like for whatever you want to call it, Kendrick used his platform, which he was given, to make the statement that he wanted to make. He's a genius. He's a diabolical, evil genius with his use of his lyrics, with his use of symbolism. If you paid attention at the Grammys when he won 5 Grammys 20 minutes ago, he was in a Canadian tuxedo, right? That was a diss. I mean, every chance he gets, he's beefing on Drake. And I thought it was good, but for the wow factor, like I would have liked to see something. I don't know. It was as much as I enjoyed it and I got it. I'm still looking back to like Rihanna. I mean, if I'm thinking with Jay-Z, I feel like there was The Weeknd, there was the LA Super Bowl, there's been Shakira and J-Lo, there's been
wasn't
Usher.
Wasn't Beyonce last year?
No, Beyonce was
Usher
way
Usher
back.
was
Usher was last year. Like of all of them, I'm still on Rihanna. I thought that was the best one. And ironically, if you look at the two of them, wildly similar. With the people dressed in similar suits and all that kind of stuff. I just thought it was more of a show than a performance. And I know I'm getting really semantical there for a sports podcast, but I don't know. It didn't blow me away. It wasn't blown away.
It didn't blow me away, but I agree with you. I think I would dare say he earned, the platform that he's at more than it was given to him. He earned it. He's got plenty of trophies and awards to go along with it, right? But it didn't wow me. And I know I'm not in the demographics. I mean, I'm in my 50s, right?
But I would argue the three of us for grumpy old men.
We're pretty hip.
I think I can speak for the three of us. Like we all enjoy Kendrick.
Yeah,
and I was looking forward to it. And I mean, getting his ex-girlfriend Serena to come out and crip walk on his grave symbolically, like just all of it. Like it's all he's so good with all that kind of stuff. I'd say we are an anomaly in this whole conversation because we do enjoy him. Yet I was underwhelmed, and like I'm ready for whatever Jay-Z does next year because they gave him the magic wand to build these halftime shows. We do have to remember though, from a Roger Goodell and who are we going to capture with this? They're not worried about us. Yeah. Me, you, and Rubber Shoes are going to be there for the Super Bowl because we're football fans. They're trying to go after the Taylor Swift effect, like the non-football player that might be watching just for Kendrick. And there were, I'm sure, millions of people across the country that watched the game just to watch the halftime show. Mm-hmm. And that's really what Roger and Jay-Z are after. They're not after us. We're going to be there anyway. And the fact that we're the anomaly and we also know who Kendrick is, and I wasn't confused by his lyrics, and I can keep up with him, and I'm senile, so I don't know. It was interesting, but the blowback online right now that if you didn't enjoy it, you're an absolute asshole is sort of fascinating to me because I did enjoy it, but I wasn't blown away. And guess what? We're allowed to say that.
Yeah. Who had the best Super Bowl commercial?
I don't know what brand it was, but my favorite was the old lady's Born to Be Wild.
Oh my God.
I don't remember what it was.
That was pretty funny.
I feel like I wasn't paying attention well enough. I mean, the one that jumped off the page to me because I turned to Janina, I'm like, on the show, that's the group of people that I want to buy the Celtics. It was like Affleck and Casey Affleck and then Belichick's just standing in the back with Jordan because his girlfriend's going to get him into every party. Like he's like the ugly kid with a hot girlfriend trying to get into the frat party. They're like, you can wait on the porch. She can come in, Right. Yeah. So I'm always going to like those because those are just so ridiculous and so mass holy. It's funny. The one that was so disturbing, and I'm a princess. I love grabbing my cold brew at Dunkin's with cold foam. I forget what brand it was. I want to say, was it like International Delight or whatever? They had the whole commercial about their cold foam.
Yeah, it was
Cremora. And oh my God, it was just this weird, gross commercial about tongues. Like, who for $8 million? Who left that boardroom and said, nailed it, let's go get lunch? That was just gross. I mean, here's the thing though. We're talking about it.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it's coming up in conversations like what the F was that commercial is keeping them spoken on, But like it's not a commercial that has legs. You're not going to see that this week. Monday morning, the kid that stamped that got fired, and they're never going to run it again. It was gross.
It was Coffee Mate.
Was it Coffee Mate? Okay.
They're done.
Mm.
My favorite one was the Duncan. I think they crushed it again. Another big hit. Just like everything you said. The one that freaked me out the most. Let's see, I have it written down here.
Not the tongue, huh?
Well, that was pretty bad.
Be honest.
I did like the bookings.com with the Muppets because I'm a Muppets fan.
I must have missed that. Yeah, see, I must have blacked out a couple of times. I didn't see that one.
The Pringles one was with the mustache was a bit much.
I must have been talking to Janina. Don't remember it.
Oh, dude, you gotta see that one. Like James Harden loses his mustache, the beard, right? That was weird.
Okay.
Yeah, it was very disturbing. I couldn't eat after I watched that. I was like, ooh. So.
So on the Kendrick Lamar note, as my son, who is in the demographic they're looking for, he was disappointed because he did all new songs. He wanted him to do some of his older songs.
Yeah, which is interesting. Like he actually debuted a song, his first song. That was a debut. Like that was a hard launch on that song.
I appreciate him. I don't listen to a lot of his stuff. I don't know. Like I knew a few of the songs, but I don't know them.
Yep. Well, I thought in a how do you start it and get everybody's attention? Because we had all the prop bets that they do for the Super Bowl, and one of the prop bets was like, what song will they do first? And when it was Rihanna's year, I said, I don't know how this makes sense, but I think she's going to open with "Bitch Better Have My Money," and she did. And Janina's like, "You're Batman," and I'm like, "I am Batman." Like I was so excited. And I love Rihanna could get up and read a list of bad phone numbers, and I'd watch. I mean, it's Rihanna. Can we have an honest conversation? I thought he would start with "Humble," and it would just be quiet, lights down, and just start with the record scratch, right? Because that just right away you're like, "Oh, Humble's coming on," and I love that song, and the energy would have been up. But he did that debut. But he goes through. If you read all the songs, like he's telling a story. And any great dork that's into music, and we all are, like back in the day when people take notes, kids, there'll be a quiz next Thursday. When people put record albums together, right? It like Led Zeppelin, it was like supposed to be played in order, and it was telling a story. And the way he put his set list together, he was taking you through all of it, right? To TV off at the end.
Yeah.
And when the lights hit and everybody's bracelets lit up, it said "Game Over" in the background.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the whole thing, because I was looking at first, I'm like, is that Squid Games? I'm like, oh, that's the PlayStation. Like all the logos were the 4 buttons on the PlayStation.
Yeah.
And it's like, we're all part of a game. We're all pawns in a game, right? And the PlayStation symbolism, people are saying, is also a push at Sony, because who's the Sony artist? Drake. Like everything, the A around his chest was an A minor. It was a lowercase a. Like he's diabolical. And at that level, you have to look back and dissect it and read the synopsis that people are posting. It's brilliant. It's beyond brilliant. And if he rapped too fast for you to keep up, okay.
He really hates him that much, huh?
It's good for ratings. It's good for albums.
Yeah, and well, that was the big thing. Like, if you ever watched the movie Private Parts with Howard Stern, the whole thing where the sponsors are all leaving because he's so over the edge, and then the ratings come in. It's all in this one scene, and they're like, the ratings came in, and they're like yelling at him and about to fire him, and they're like, the ratings are in. The ratings are in. Number one, males 18 to 54, and they're going through all the ratings, and they're like, why do you listen? And why do you keep listening? Like, he's horrible. He's disgusting. Why do you keep listening? Because I want to see what he'll say next.
Yeah.
There were 51% of the non-football watchers were watching to see if he'd do the diss track. Because the guess from most people is Roger wouldn't want to be involved in a probable lawsuit for, propagating all that on a national stage. My only question, like if I get up to heaven and Kendrick happened, he's much younger. He won't be there. When he gets there, assuming I'm going to get there, I don't know. Got some talking with God to do. But whenever I get to see
you just have
God
to apologize
and Kendrick,
before you die.
Yeah. God and Kendrick in the same room, I'd be like, God, first of all, Why do men have nipples? Kendrick, why the mom jeans? I have to know. Like the flared mom jeans, you lost me at and I couldn't tell what the sneakers were. I'm sure they weren't. And I know Rubber Shoes will appreciate this reference point because Gooch used to love them.
Yeah, they look like shell toes.
They look like spot belts. Remember the old spot belts with the big flap over tongue?
It had white toes.
Corey's like, I don't know what you mean, Grandpa.
It had white toes.
You don't know what spot belts are?
No.
He's too young.
You have to send me a picture.
I will send you spot belts. Yes.
We got to get to the Bruins before you forget too.
Put that in the ledger. We will do that. Yeah. So obviously the Eagles are the runaway favorite. I think they're the odds-on favorite for next year already. Has that already been said?
I saw it on ESPN this morning.
And I don't want them. First of all, I don't want back-to-back. I want the Super Bowl I think the whole country wants. And don't get me wrong, if we come out and do something amazeballs, can't wait. I would like us to be fighting to be in the conversation. Somebody in the office said today, if when ESPN towards the December shows, they start putting up all the thing with where everybody is, and there's always a couple teams outside the bubble that says in the hunt. I want us to just be at least in the hunt. Like threatening to be a wild card team would be great. I think America wants Detroit Buffalo. I think that would be a phenomenal Super Bowl. And hopefully they can put it together.
I want the Redskins.
It's the Commanders.
I want the Redskins if they're the Redskins. Like fix that during the offseason. They say that they're going to do it. They need to do it.
They won't do it.
And they're just not, they're going to be called, they're not going to call them the Redskins, I guess, but they're going to bring the logo back. That's the latest rumblings I've heard. But anyway.
Well, they can't call them the Commanders then. They got to change the name at least. That'll be stupid.
Yeah. I don't know what they're going to do. They should just bring back the Redskins is what they should do.
Yeah.
But yeah, who knows? Who knows? Because like it's so weird. And I know we've talked about this so many times, but like, how is it you go to a Florida State game and they're doing the tomahawk chop?
They do it at the Kansas City
and
Chiefs
Kansas
game,
City does
the
it.
Atlanta Braves games.
It is so selective in what they decide is offensive, and it's fascinating to me. And for anybody, you want to free a nation, let Cleveland be the Indians again.
Oh my gosh! Yeah.
There is the Cleveland Guardians, like
Guardians of what?
Yeah, we all saw that piece the other day with And
the thing is with the Cleveland Indians, it wasn't even like they had a cartoon character was the logo. It wasn't. There was nothing.
Chief Wahoo.
They didn't.
One of the best logos in all sports.
They didn't like have Indians killing people or anything. It was like a cartoon picture. It was the Indians. It wasn't. I was like, that was probably the one that I never thought would be touched.
Yeah, Chief Wahoo is such a great logo. Such a awesome logo. Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, give me your synopsis, boys. Celtics at the break.
Celtics still got a week to go.
They definitely need a break.
Is it one more week before the break?
Yeah.
I thought they were going into the break after yesterday.
Hockey is on a break.
Hockey is on break.
Yeah, I know they're doing Four Nations. Oh, I thought somebody said the other day that they were going into the break after this game.
No, I think
you're a week ahead. That's all right.
I think basketball is the weekend after they finish.
That makes sense. Okay,
their Four Nations thing.
Okay.
Yeah, that Four Nations thing is gonna be pretty cool. So I went to my first hockey game, pro hockey game ever.
Really?
It was cool.
You've never been to the Garden for the Bruins?
No. Never.
Interesting.
Who was Nashville playing?
Buffalo Sabres.
Oh, yeah.
But man, when they would score, when the Predators would score a goal, they would have Tim McGraw on the big screen saying, "I like it, I love it, I want some more of it," right?
Yeah.
And then they would chant like, "You suck," right? And they would say that over and over and over again
to the goalie.
To the goalie.
That's like college atmosphere.
Man, it was so high energy. They had like all these girls around the perimeter just cheering and having signs and high-fiving everybody every time they scored. It was like 10 goals were scored in that whole game.
Oh wow!
Dear
It was
Lord.
6-4. Yeah, it was massive.
Yeah.
And I had pretty good seats. I mean, I sent you the pictures, but they were.
Yep.
I mean, they were $130. It's not like it was crazy money.
That's not bad at all.
I didn't think so.
That's not bad at all.
You know what 130 gets you at a Bruins game?
Parking.
Probably the rafters.
Parking.
4 rows before the last seat.
Ooh,
Maybe. Yeah, maybe. Holy Lord.
Depending on the game too.
Yeah, Francis was not in a good mood. We had our Bruins game Saturday, and he's been undefeated at the Bruins until Saturday.
Oh.
So he was not pleased because he was just like, should we leave?
You up in those
we're in the rafter seats for the Celtics. That's coming up in March. That's early March. We were in Janina's company seats. So we had the 50-yard line seats. They're right on the red line, 12 rows off the ice. It's ridiculous. Nice. And it's so funny. I find myself watching, and then I, without fail, just end up looking at it because the screen's so big. Yeah. So I'm sitting 12 rows off the ice and I'm watching it on TV. I'm like, I'm such an asshole. Like, what are we doing? Like,
I did the same thing back and forth all the time. Just
hanging out. Like, I constantly find myself watching the screen. I'm like, whatever. So yeah, that was annoying because got a goal seconds into the first period and then just evaporated. And last night, BC evaporated against B. It's the BU Invitational. And the stat that I said to you guys in the chat, the stat that I love and the stat that I hate, I always feel there's an emotional connection. Like, I know that we're on the right path. If BC wins the Bean Pot, it's always led to good things at the end of the season. And they threw out a stat last night. Now, obviously, this is not all inclusive, but last night, who am I thinking of? Tom Caron. Tom Caron made the point that every Hockey East team who's ever won a national title has preempted it with a Bean Pot. And I'm like, So I don't love that, but I love the revenge factor. And I've always said this. I would rather lose to the Bills, or I suppose maybe an NFC team, because the Bills are in the division. I'd rather lose to somebody in the regular season and get them in the postseason. And it's funny because on the EI morning show that Rubbish Shoes hates so much, the producer, Chris Curtis, is a BC guy. And they were talking about it this morning. And he goes, their biggest event happens in Boston. He goes, ours will happen on a national stage. And they went to commercial. I was like, yes. So God willing. So, I mean, we're going to see them in Hockey East and we'll see them again in the dance. That's for sure. But last night was just, the wheels came off. Terrible. The BU Invitational. What a pleasure. So, all right. So I'm ahead on basketball. Then give me hockey. Are they trading? Are they making moves? Are people leaving Boston?
I don't think they do anything.
Rubbish Shoes has nothing for me.
I think they're going to be sellers.
Who's going?
The name that's been floated out a lot is Trent Frederick. I would, like, a lot of the people around here say, and
Marchand.
Actually, I've seen rumors of Marchand also.
Yep.
The only person I wouldn't trade is Pasternak. Everyone else on the table.
Well, yeah, I think they. Yeah, who knows? I would hate to see McAvoy go. I would hate to see Pasta go. I'd hate to see Swayman go. And I would I'd hate to see Marchand. I'd hate to see Marchand in another uniform because we're so close to him not ever being in another uniform. And I would love for them to come out of the break and just see if there's been a mental readjustment. I think he deserves that. And I know that doesn't matter and it's a business and all this kind of stuff. And we're all huge fans and we get emotionally attached. But
stuff for him, you know.
Oh, I can already feel it. But there's a game coming up in the second half of the season where his team visits and they play the tribute film for him during the first time out. And I don't want to deal with it.
They have no young players that are any good. They have okay guys, nothing that you're like, Oh, can't wait till this guy gets up here, because if the people they have, if they were any good, they'd be here already.
Right. Yep.
Potra is like the best guy, and he's still going back and forth.
Yep.
So they need to replenish. They need to get some draft picks and hit on the draft picks.
Yeah, I was trying to think.
I think but the thing is, it's like, so I think Sweeney's gone after this season, and do you want him? Like they said, what happens to like guys that think that they're going to be losing their job? They make moves to try to save their job, which doesn't help the organization. It's like,
winning the final game of the season. Yeah.
That's
bad idea.
That's what. That's a bad idea.
Bad idea.
I mean, I guess I see him like getting players that are free agents in the summertime, so they can free up some of that cash, I guess. But I don't think they're going to do anything. I think you're right. I think they're either not going to do anything and just let it die and then lose everybody for nothing like they've always done, right? And then fire Sweeney and then start from scratch, which will take another 5 or 6 years.
Yeah, it's
a cycle.
Their draft pick from last year was Letourneau, the BC kid, Dean Letourneau, and he's only a freshman. So would he stick around, or would he, after they're done playing hockey at the Heights this year, does he jump up? You never know. It's so weird that they're like, no, I'm going to play a little bit more, or I trust the Bruins are going to advise them in that decision and be like, yeah, we're good. But to your point, they could probably, but they probably wouldn't have them jump if they're not jumping into a playoff situation. No, it's great to get those kids to jump when school's over. Yeah.
On another note, the Canadians have a player from BC that's in the Calder Cup conversation.
Fowler.
Hudson.
Oh, well, you guys got Fowler coming too. Fowler, our goalie.
Well, I'm currently on the team.
Oh, on the team. I apologize.
In the Rookie of the Year talk.
Yeah, it's great. It's great news. Good for you. That's awesome. So happy for you. Yeah, I swear to God, Fowler.
Hey, I talked about BC. You should be happy about that.
I love you so much. You know that.
We have Newhook too, who's also from BC.
I know you do.
And speaking of BC, you should be very happy that Clemson beat Duke. Revenge your loss to Duke. You're welcome.
Thanks to Joe and Leslie and our dear friends at AAA Work Truck. Honest to God, this fucking show's like a hate crime. It really is. Let's get on and abuse him. I'm just kidding. Listen, I was talking to somebody else the other day. What was it? Who was asking me? And they're like, "Oh, I thought you had basketball." I said, "Yeah, I had it for a handful of years. When Bubba went away to school, we stopped because it was such a challenge having basketball because like the UNC game and the Duke game, and I know they all can't be Saturday at 12 for Grandpa Lindsay. I get that, but like 9:00 on a Tuesday." Like this just in, I'm not going down to Chestnut Hill University for an 8:59 tip on a school night. I'm just not. I mean, we would for those games. Then the challenge is people like Rubber Shoes dig out their periwinkle Tar Heel shirt and they show up in force. And then it's me and my wife and my boys, and we're 4 pieces of maroon in a sea of blue. And it's unenjoyable. It's like you had a whole bunch of squatters wander in from the woods and take over your house. So there's no joy in Whoville, and I just like meh. So and that's the only way that you can guarantee that you're going to get. Right now the ad that's running on the radio for all the games that are coming up this fall at BC is like guarantee you get tickets by grabbing season tickets. Which is sad that we have a commercial that we still have a season available.
I know the Notre Dame game. What's the other premier games they have coming up?
That is a phenomenal question. The home slate is not bad. Stand by. And don't worry, Rubber Shoes. We're going to get you in there. Holy Moses. Where are we? The dial-up's taking a little bit here. Some of these are ridiculous. And this is why, hi, Father Leahy. This is why we'll never contend for anything. August 30th, Fordham. Thank you. September 6th at Michigan State. September 13th at Stanford. September 27th, California comes in. October 4th at Pittsburgh. October 11th, Clemson comes in. October 18th, Connecticut comes in. Like that's that game, that second game, that game shouldn't be happening. Like I would love, and I know we've talked about this a bunch. I would love for Billy O'Brien to get on the phone and just start changing these, or Blake, our athletic director, just start calling some of these schools and being like, yeah, we're going to send you the $1 million check. We're not playing. And just start reforming the schedule. You can't have Fordham and Connecticut on your schedule.
Yeah.
And want for anything more than us getting to the Pop-Tart Bowl. Still very excited about that opportunity. Right? It's not a real schedule, And I think if we're going to do it, like if you're going to have your tomato soup can game, let's just make it Holy Cross. Let's make it permanently Holy Cross and just have that be the game.
So I think.
Why is that any different than Fordham? Why? It's not. And we're doing the Fordham game and Connecticut.
BC should play Stanford and Notre Dame every year.
1,000%. Yeah. Yep. So Clemson, then we got Connecticut coming in. We're at Louisville. Notre Dame coming in November 1st. SMU is coming in. Georgia Tech is at Tech. And then we're at Cuse, which is great because that's like a home game for us. We'll drive up to that game. It's a fun little road trip for the family.
So I think Navy Notre Dame is going to be at Gillette Stadium, I think at 26.
November 26th?
No, 2026.
Oh, 2026. Oh, I apologize. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, actually, really good news. We're way off track, but here we are. Janina would correct me, and that's her full-time job. I'm not sure if it's this.
She's really good at it.
Yeah, she's fucking her arms tired from. She's out of red ink, and her arms tired. I'm not sure if it's this spring or if it's going to be the spring of his junior and senior year, or maybe it's the next 3 springs. The lacrosse championships are at Gillette.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So,
next 3 years?
I'm sitting in front of the internet. Like, I have no idea. Like, it kills me to do research, as everybody knows. So stand by.
I'd love to see UNC win a championship there. Or Notre Dame. They both have good lacrosse teams.
Notre Dame has a disgusting lacrosse team. They're going to be in it for a very long time. That's not what I wanted.
Rubbish Shoes, how old is your cat?
How old is your cat?
Let's see, 2023. We got her in 2023. She was 3, so 5. She'll be 5 this summer.
Okay.
What about Bella? She looks young.
She is 7 months.
It's this year in May.
May.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's always the end of May. Yep. So they've got obviously the D1 stuff here, but like I know D1, D2, and D3 are all historically in the same place, or maybe it's not till next year that D3 comes up here. But that would be cool because that would be like his junior and senior year. And if they get that far, we'd be able to go watch, which would be awesome. Yeah. I mean, Janina will go anyway because she just goes, but for some of us that have to report to work, some of us. All right. Corey has to go do hair and makeup. He's got a grinder date he's very excited about, so we're going to get him off to that event. What is his name? No. Tell us what his name is.
Nobody needs to hear that.
Nobody needs to hear that.
Oh, man.
I'm going to the Tube and Lube. It's a hot dog stand with alcohol.
Ooh, I did go to
you see, here it is. I knew I'd get the truth out of him.
What do they call that? It was like a
heavy petting. That's what they call it. What are you doing? What's happening?
It was while I was in Nashville. We went out to dinner, and there was a show. What do they call that?
Burlesque.
Burlesque. Yeah. Yes, thank you.
Oh, I was gonna.
I saw a woman
like the
swallow
Thunder
a
Down
sword.
Under, or what are we doing?
I saw a woman swallow a sword that was at least 3 to 5 feet long. Like, it was nothing.
Wow.
That was amazing.
How was your concentration when you got back to the hotel room?
It was hard.
With that, I'm gonna count to 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, because I want to divorce them from the statement that I just made, and the one that you followed up with. Joe and Leslie, our dear friends at AAA Work Trucks, God bless them for tolerating all the sword swallowing that goes on the show. We'll be back next week. This is 199, boys. Next week.
Oh, 200's going to be without you?
Next week, you bucket of assholes. I'm leaving the keys on the counter. I'm asking you to drink responsibly and only drive when you need to go out to get cigarettes, milk, or cupcakes. Yeah. Try to keep it on the road next week. I don't know who's going to be here. Who's going to be here next week? What's happening? Got Rubber Shoes next week. Corey next week. Maybe Adam. It might be the 4 of you. Might be the 4 of you for the big 200. Scotty should be available. Scotty might be out of hair and makeup, so that's cool. Yeah, this is 199, 200s next week. We have no idea when that's going to be. So stay close to YouTube, and you'll get a push notification if you're subscribed. And if you comment and share and like, that will help too. You can do all that at ATB Show.
You get prizes of unspeakable value.
Yeah. We might, we love saying this. Anybody who's ever done radio loves. We will dig deep into the prize closet, and who knows what might come out. It might be tickets that are useless now for the Lilith Fair. It could be a Shania Twain CD, or maybe some tchotchkes that say WERZ. We don't know. We don't know if we have enough time. So we'll be back next week, or the boys will be back next week for episode 200.
Hey,
appreciate you guys hanging out and supporting the show. Again, atbshow.com. Thanks a lot. Have a great week.